Now, did they have a witness who actually watched the murder itself?
Yes.
And did he testify?
No, they hid him. Hid him and his family in a hotel somewhere, stating that their lives were in danger.
Because when there were witnesses, and this is not that well known to people that know about the killing, when there were witnesses at the time for the crime, there were four eyewitnesses, and they all said that the person they saw running off was a tall, white-looking man with curly, blonde, long hair.
Yeah.
And
thin.
And so they had a bunch of these people come into the court and testify, but the man who actually witnessed the murder, I think his name was Gustafson, is that right? And he was walking, Stephen Gustafson, and he was walking his dog at the neighboring building to the north, and he had, I think, gone into the shadows because he heard the ruffle, and then he watched Sal get stabbed.
He watched Sal drive up, get out of his car, get his briefcase, walk past his entrance and go into the back entrance where the guy was waiting on him.
And so Ray, help me. So why did they not subpoena him? Why didn't they make Gustafson testify?
They said that his life was in danger.
That's bizarre. I am here with Lionel Ray Williams, who goes by Ray Ray, and we are here for an interview to talk a little bit about Ray Ray's story and dispel some rumors and untruths and get to the bottom of a lot of very serious questions. I'm Adam. I run Graveline Tours, funeral limousine sightseeing company in LA. And I found Ray Ray through a pretty organic route because I was just researching, as a murder tour operator does, the death of Sal Mineo for some of the latest angles. And I came across this piece of news on the internet that shocked me out of my socks. I couldn't believe what I was reading. But I read that Lionel Ray Williams, who of course we all know as the man who stabbed Sal Mineo, beyond a doubt, was the subject of a recent documentary called Unseen Innocence that was based on a book that he wrote, 51 Years to the Life, last year. And the premise of that book, very simply, is that you were wrongfully accused of the crime. And I then got the book off of Amazon and I read it because obviously I was quite skeptical. And the more that I read, the more my jaw fell to the ground because I thought, this guy's telling the truth. And then I've gotten to know you a little bit. This is the first time we meet in person, but I now have no doubt about it in my bones. And so I thought, well, let's get Ray Ray in front of a camera and put his story on YouTube because the documentary's been playing. It's been playing around the country and at the Angelica Theater in New York, and it's going to film festivals. But we should have you telling your story in long form interview just for the world and the YouTube public to see. So Ray Ray, I mostly just want to hear what your story is. Let's go from start to finish. Why don't you introduce yourself and give us a little of your background?
How y'all doing? Thank you for having me. Well, my story began when I rented a car on February the 12th, I guess. And I rented a Dodge Coat, and a yellow Dodge Coat. But it didn't operate correctly, so I had White Boy Mike take it back to O'Connor Lincoln on Crenshaw. And about 6 months later, I was being extradited to Battle Creek, Michigan for some checks, some forgeries I did out there. So they came to the county jail to Wayside before I got extradited to Michigan. And then they questioned me about, how long did I have a car? Did I loan anybody the car? Do I have any white friends that I could loan a car to? I said, no. And then I say 6 months later, they came to Battle Creek. And then that's when the nightmare started.
So Ray, let's back up real quick for myself and for our audience. Just help me to put together the context. You were living in Los Angeles. You were born in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I'm born in Los Angeles.
And then and now one of the things, by the way, that can help me to believe you so much is that you are the first person to admit, as in your words, that you're no angel, not perfect.
No.
So you did then. What was the charge in Michigan, and why did it happen in Michigan with the checks? Just fill me in.
Well, I went there because I was, we was doing little forgeries and counterfeit stuff in L.A. So I just took some of my craft with me, just in case, I couldn't find a job. And at that time, I couldn't find a job.
Right.
So then I ended up hooking up with some of my ex-wife's father's friends. They had, some printers and computers, and they knew what they was doing.
Right. Yeah.
So I told them, I said, look here, I got these checks, and I'm not going to tell you what company it is because they still exist. But I brought some checks with me that we was using in L.A. So we just changed the address because they had the same business there. We changed the address, changed a few codes.
Mm-hmm.
Dude got into some kind of way and found out some codes, and we printed up a gang of the checks and started cracking them all over.
So you went to Michigan to look for a job originally?
No, originally I went there to show my daughter to his grandfather and grandmother there.
I see.
We was just
I understand.
there to
So you
visit.
had family there?
No, my ex-wife had.
I understand.
And Teresa.
Teresa had family there. Okay, now I understand. And so then they caught you for the forged checks, and they arrested you. But then you had been back in LA County when they found you. Is that right? And so you were extradited.
No. See, my wife's father's friend, he was a cop. So he told me. He came straight to me and told me. He said, "Look, they looking for somebody named Ray.
Right.
You're the only person that just came here named Ray.
Yeah.
So you got an opportunity to leave now."
Right.
So I left.
Right. Of course. Understand.
I had.
It was a rational choice.
Yeah, I had to go.
Yeah.
I left my wife and kid there.
So, and you mentioned at the beginning, the yellow car. Explain to the viewers that aren't familiar with the ins and outs of the Sal Mineo murder, what is the significance of the yellow car, and why is that important for your story?
Well, in my case, the car was a different car. It was yellow, but it was a different car. It didn't look nothing like it. And the way, like I say, they got to it was O'Connor Lincoln, first, back up. Peter J. Pictures put out a bulletin.
And Peter J. Pictures, for everyone that doesn't know, was the chief sheriff, I believe, in the 70s and 80s. Yeah. He
put out a bulletin saying that if anybody's seen a yellow car in that area in Hollywood, to report it. If anybody loaned the yellow car,
because that was what was seen at the scene of the crime as the getaway car.
Yeah.
Right.
So O'Connor Lincoln, because they didn't put the description, the make or nothing of the car, just a small yellow car.
Right.
So O'Connor Lincoln contacted the sheriff's department, and that's how.
So that's how they found you.
Yeah, that's how they.
Because I've been wondering, how did they choose you?
O'Connor Lincoln.
Interesting.
Notified them that they loaned me a car.
Yeah, and one detail that I really picked up on in the book is that the Lincoln dealership provided the receipt, but they didn't put any of the mileage on the receipt, which would have been significant. Why?
Hey, every time I rent a car, it's mileage going out and mileage coming in. You know, when they gave me the car, they went inside the car, wrote the mileage down.
Yeah.
When we returned the car back, they went in the car after he dropped it off the hook, and they wrote the mileage down.
Yep.
But then when this trial comes, there's no mileage coming back in.
And how much mileage would there have been if there was?
It would have been the mileage going from O'Connell, Lincoln to my mother's house.
Okay.
Because that's where White Boy Mike picked it up.
Okay.
You know, sorry about saying White Boy Mike.
No.
But that's
nickname.
You know, that's
fine.
that's
No,
it.
yeah.
He was the white boy,
Yeah,
the hardest
yeah.
one in the neighborhood. So, you know, he had the mechanic shop right around the corner with the tow trucks and stuff.
And why did he take the car back to the dealership?
Because the clutches, it wouldn't go into gear right. It was a stick shift.
So you drove it one trip, and
One trip.
then you had it returned.
I had it returned.
Right.
And I went with him.
Right. And how far was your mother's house from O'Connell, Lincoln? About.
Probably about 5-6 miles.
Right.
Or a little more.
Right. Okay,
My mother was on 93rd Normandy.
Okay.
So we took it to Crenshaw and Adams.
That's where the Lincoln dealership was?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So, okay, so mid-city, West Adams.
Mm-hmm.
So that could, maybe 5 or 6 miles could have got you to West Hollywood, but it couldn't have gotten you back. Okay, sorry, Ray. Just lots of clarifications. Pardon me. Continue. So now we're in the Battle Creek, Michigan police station. Is that right?
Yeah. I'm in the Calhoun County Jail.
Okay. Right.
Calhoun
Jail.
They called my name through the little thing, the little vent hole, and they said, "Get your stuff together. You going to Battle Creek Station." So I'm thinking that maybe they found some more charges, some more checks somewhere, because we hit everywhere.
Trying not to smile. Yeah, it's not a good thing.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, because the system out there was designed for what I was doing. Out there, the banks close at 12 o'clock, so 12:02, we finna cash these checks.
Gotcha.
So there's no, they can't verify nothing.
Gotcha.
The check looked legit, you dressed legit, they gotta cash it. So, that's,
Got it. So you would go right before the bank was about to shut, and they would cash it, and then they would all go home.
Yeah.
Right. That's clever. Yeah. I mean, it didn't work for that long, but it worked for a while.
No.
Yeah.
It worked for as long as the idiot that told the police, because he was trying to push me out. And he didn't like.
So
they
it was an inside.
Yeah, because they wasn't trying to. They wasn't making that kind of money. We pulling in thousands of dollars off of these checks. They wasn't used to that. I mean, they had mold in their houses, and they was living bad. So when you making this kind of money,
changes you.
Change you. They like, oh, hold up, we can get rid of him. We can keep this.
Yeah.
So that's what they did.
Yeah.
But luckily, God came in again and sent the warning. Mm-hmm. You the only one here named Ray. So you better get out of here, because they going, I went hunting with this man. As soon as we got there, I bought my shotgun and we went, coon hunting, and bought 22, 30. So we went hunting a lot, when I was in Battle Creek.
So what happened when you got to the Battle Creek police station from your jail?
Same police, same two sheriffs that was at the Wayside Max was there, and questioned me and all this, and showing me pictures of Sal Mineo and some of his friends and all this. I'm like, I don't know this man. Well, one of your friends did this. I mean, no, ain't none of my friends done that. And they just like, kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and then, I got pissed off, because they just kept pushing.
Sure, yeah.
We got friends of yours that's saying that you told them you did it. I'm saying, no, you ain't got none of my friends to say anything like that. And, oh yeah, we got it. But they didn't show me that then.
And Ray, what do you know when this was specifically? Because if you said February 12th was the date of the yellow car phone call, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sal was killed, I think, on the 10th.
On the 12th.
Oh, was he killed on the 12th?
Yeah.
Okay. And so then when was this visit to the Battle Creek station in Michigan? Like a week after that, 2 weeks after that?
No, this is like in December.
Right, because the police for a very long time were at a loss.
Yeah.
I see. So they had put out the question about the yellow car, and then it took a few months for the Cadillac dealership to call in with the information.
Dealership.
Excuse me, the Lincoln dealership to call in about you. Is that right? And then once they did, then the police grabbed onto that, and then they went to Michigan to find you.
I guess that's how it happened.
Yeah, okay. Got it. And so were you extradited?
Yeah. I was extradited to Michigan on the forgery charges. And then I was extradited back to face the death penalty in this case.
Now, did you know who Sal Mineo was?
No.
Had you ever heard of him before?
Not really. Not really. I didn't seen him in movies and never knew who he was. But I know who he is now because, everybody always call me when his movies come on.
You're probably the only person that's not happy about it.
I'm not, I don't feel that's funny, but, it is what it is.
And so, Ray, after this happened, they held you and then they charged you because they said that they had a witness to you boasting in jail. Is that right?
Yeah,
about having
they
been the guy?
They saying that I was boasting that I killed Sal Mineo in the jail.
So how did that come about?
They made that up.
Well, so how did they have a guard on record? Because I think it was a guard.
The only black guard.
So he was the one that supposedly heard you boasting, right?
Yeah,
so how did that?
Overheard.
So why did he tell them that?
To keep his position, probably. You know anything about Calhoun County?
Nothing.
You gotta look it up. Right across the street from the entry, the exit door out of the jail, it's a sign. Clearly, it says, "Nothing dark after dark."
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Still?
I don't know. And then on the weekends, like Friday and Sunday, the Ku Klux Klan would come in the parking lot of the county jail and holler up, "Any of you niggas want to get bailed out?"
Is that true?
On my mama, they would holler up, "Any of you niggas want to get bailed out? Send me your name, and I will bail you out." And the sheriffs would just let them just do whatever they want to do.
So if the guard that said that you boasted about killing Sal Mineo was black, what would have been his reason for doing that if you didn't actually boast to him about killing Sal Mineo?
To keep his job.
What do you mean? Was he under some sort of threat?
Man, he was the only black in the whole jail. There had never been a black man working in that jail until this case came on.
Okay. But how did he know to say that? How did he know?
The sheriff
was he
department
prompted?
told him.
I see.
Told him what to say.
So you're saying that the LA Sheriff's Department under Pitchess in LA County had somehow coerced this guard.
Oh, yeah.
And do you know how they might have done that? What kind of pressure? You said to keep his job. So they basically said to him, if you want to keep your job, you're going to play ball.
You're going to be basically that's what
And
happened.
they chose him because he was the vulnerable one, because he was the only black one.
Black. There had never been a black
Okay.
man working in that jail until this
So it
case.
was a very big novelty, and he was on very shaky ground just by being in that position.
They needed him to make themselves look right.
Wow.
You know.
And Ray, do you know his name? It's okay. Doesn't matter.
It's
in the book.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if did he testify against you as well?
Yeah, he came to the courthouse and testified.
Incredible.
Said he stood in the hallway and overheard me saying it to somebody else. But he didn't know who I said it to.
Now, from the point of view of the general public and of me, what I always thought of as the axiomatic reasons that Lionel Ray Williams had to have killed Sal Mineo was, one, that he was overheard boasting about having done it in prison. And then the other main one, I mean, there was like, as the prosecutor said, there was a mountain of circumstantial evidence. The other main reason was that you apparently went home, according to your wife at the time, I think that was Teresa, and you came home and you were in a blood-soaked shirt, and you had said something to her about having killed some dude in Hollywood.
That's something else made up too. Check this out. I stayed in prison for over 23 years. I've seen a lot of people get hit. I ain't never seen nobody get hit with clothes on and somebody get blood on them. I ain't never seen that before. That's some made up bullshit they done did again.
So you're saying if Sal Mineo was stabbed in the heart one time, which is the way that he died, right, from somebody that was waiting at the carport, and then they stabbed him and they ran off, you're saying it is pretty unlikely that they would have blood all over their shirt.
They wouldn't have no blood on their shirt.
They wouldn't have any blood on their shirt.
No.
Because it wouldn't...
One hit. One hit. Remember they said one hit to the heart.
So Ray, help me out. So what was going on that made Teresa come out and say this, if it wasn't true?
Well, yeah. She had a little case that she was fighting.
With the sheriff? Or the police?
Yeah, with the sheriff.
Okay.
Yeah. With the sheriff. She had a little case. Her and her friend had a little case. And they was trying to use that case against her.
What kind of case?
It was an entrapment prostitution case.
So they caught her in some sort of a compromising state, and they said, you're prostituting yourself, and they brought her in. I see.
Yeah.
I see.
They caught her and her friend at a hotel, saying that they was trying to pick up somebody for a date.
Did they have any evidence that they were trying to do that?
I don't know.
Rather, what was the actual reason that Teresa and her friend were at that hotel?
They have drinks.
So, therefore, when they had this, and now, was this arrest around the same time that you were being charged, or was it at a different time? Was it well before?
It was right after.
Right after you had been charged.
Because I had the Buick Deuce and a quarter that I got from O'Connor Lincoln.
Right. So you're saying after you had been charged, then they conveniently found your wife having drinks at a hotel, decided that she was in some sort of a prostitution scenario, brought her in.
No. Right before I had to turn myself in to get extradited to Michigan, she had caught the case. Her and the girl caught the case.
Got it.
Got it.
So it was before you went to Michigan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before I went to Michigan.
So they had this already on her, and they found out that she had been charged.
They dropped it. I don't see how they could have brought it back up, but she was uh, 17, 18 years old, so she was scared.
She was scared.
You know, she didn't, you say you're going to take my kids, then, what you want me to do?
Well, and I think what it's really important to keep in mind, just in general, is that now and in that time, law enforcement has quite a bit of power over an individual, and that's a power that we entrust them with, but it's something that it's always possible to abuse.
Yeah.
And if you take into account that this was just right at the cusp of the civil rights movement, that the power was greatly amplified over a person of color.
Yeah, well,
because
a lot of black people was scared of the system.
Right.
So whatever you say, they do.
Now, I remember from the book that you wrote that, so they picked up Teresa, and they sort of said, well, you had this prostitution charge, we wouldn't want your family to find out. And then they somehow played her a tape of you, supposedly you telling the sheriffs that she was a prostitute. Is that right? That they played her some sort of cassette tape?
It wasn't me.
Right, but they did do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They played my voice to a lot of people.
How did they do that?
Some actor. I got a guy that I can call right now, and he can find the actor. He said because they wanted to do some voiceovers, just in case he stays in Detroit, so he could sound just like me. So what they did was found somebody that could sound like me.
You're kidding.
And they played those recordings to my friends.
So this is a lot of work to catch the killer that killed Sal Mineo, right? That's my main takeaway.
They did some Mission Impossible shit on me.
Now, we're going to have some viewers that even after hearing all this are going to say, well, I still don't believe you. You know, I think that he's lying about everything.
Okay, check this out, man. You know, they can check is public, information. In every case I've watched on TV, every case I done seen in a movie, the witness of a crime is on the stand. The DA asks that one question: do you see the person in the courtroom who murdered Sal Mineo?
Of course.
That question was never asked to no eyewitness. You know what the question was? Can you tell the court and the jury what happened?
Now, did they have a witness who actually watched the murder itself?
Yes.
And did he testify?
No, they hid him. Hid him and his family in a hotel somewhere, stating that their lives were in danger.
Because when there were witnesses, and this is not that well known to people that know about the killing, when there were witnesses at the time for the crime, there were four or five eyewitnesses, and they all said that the person they saw running off was a tall, white-looking man with curly, blonde, long hair.
Yeah.
And
thin.
And so they had a bunch of these people come into the court and testify, but the man who actually witnessed the murder, I think his name was Gustafson, is that right? And he was walking, Stephen Gustafson, and he was walking his dog at the neighboring building to the north, and he had, I think, gone into the shadows because he heard the ruffle, and then he watched Sal get stabbed.
He watched Sal drive up, get out of his car, get his briefcase, walk past his entrance and go into the back entrance where the guy was waiting on him.
Because he lived at 8769 and he was stabbed, I think, at 8767.
Yeah.
And And so Ray, help me. So why did they not subpoena him? Why didn't they make Gustafson testify?
They said that his life was in danger.
That's bizarre.
But his dad is a retired police.
So his dad maybe had something to do with protecting him from what he saw.
Yeah.
Because at the time, it wasn't clear who killed Sal Mineo.
But he said, Stephen said, that they said that his life, his family were in danger. So they took him from their apartment and put him in a hotel until after the trial.
So,
and then they had someone else come in the courtroom, older gentleman, to say that the perpetrator bumped into him while he was walking his dog.
Oh my goodness.
They put somebody else in his place.
Oh my goodness. That he bumped into.
Yeah, it's in transcript. It's in transcript. Who was this man? This man was a grown man. The 17-year-old who witnessed everything was a 17-year-old kid. They put somebody else in his place. They just
swapped him out.
They swapped him out.
Did you know who the man that they brought in his... Had you ever seen him before?
No.
So let's talk about the trial. The trial is for me, one of the many red flags about the situation, right? Because I read in the book that for some reason, I guess, and I'm not a lawyer, but I guess that in a criminal case, you're given a preliminary hearing normally.
Normally.
Is that right? Where the judge hears both sides and then makes a decision. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, or you guys correct me if I'm wrong. Makes a decision about whether the case is material enough or there is a case at all. And both sides, at a preliminary hearing, who's there? The defendant, the prosecutor,
that's it,
and the lawyers.
But no, none of my lawyers.
Well, who's supposed to be there normally?
The DA, the grand jury, and the judge.
Oh, okay. So in the preliminary hearing, there's not supposed to be...
Oh, in a preliminary hearing, there's just a judge, the DA, and my attorney.
That's what I thought. Yeah, right. Yeah. You're skipping ahead to what really happened.
Okay.
I understand. Yeah, right. We're talking past each other.
Okay.
So normally, you have a chance to argue whether it should even go to trial. But what happened in your case?
If they would have took it to the preliminary hearing, I would have been cut loose. Because it would have been shown that I'm not white, I'm not 6 feet tall, I don't have no blonde hair. That would have been obvious. That's all I had at that time was that murder. I didn't have none of the robberies.
Well, and the check, right?
No, the check was in Michigan.
Okay, so you had nothing in California?
Nothing. That's all I had.
Because I know a lot of people, like when I've been watching the stories on YouTube, the reports about how they knew beyond a doubt that it had to be Lionel Ray Williams, they say, well, this was a career criminal and he was already in the system for doing stuff, but the stuff that they're referring to is the checks. So your crime past at this point was that you had forged checks and that's it?
No. I had a lot of gun charges.
Okay.
Drug charges.
Okay.
Assaults.
Okay. And that was in California?
Yeah.
And had you been in prison before for those?
No.
Okay. So what was the result of those charges? Were you were arrested and then fined or arrested and bailed out? Given misdemeanor?
My family had money, so they got attorneys.
I see.
The crime disappeared.
I understand. Okay, so that was that, but you didn't have. Okay, so you didn't have anything that was on record, except for the check. Is that correct?
Yeah. But it is public. You can look it up.
Yeah, this is all public information.
Pandering and all that. So.
Okay, so just to clarify, Ray, for me, the crimes that you were charged with before the Sal Mineo murder, apart from the checks, were they successfully cleared by your family's attorney, or were they put onto your record and they were in your past?
They just in the past.
Got it. So they would have seen those when they were charging you. They would have seen, oh, well, he has a history of this and this and this. Okay, I understand.
Criminals.
Right, okay, which makes it, I mean, if you want to argue it in the other direction, it does also make it more convincing if they want to set someone up for the murder of Sal Mineo.
Yeah.
They'll say it also makes it more likely that he did it. But you can look at it both ways. You have to look at the facts in everything, and what we're doing is we're looking at the facts in this case all along. So the judge would have known that, and my understanding also, correct me if I'm wrong, is that there was no evidence to link you to the case.
No evidence.
Everything was witness testimony. So normally in a murder case, you look for fingerprints, you look for, I guess it was pre-DNA, but you could still look at blood samples, blood types, if there were any, footprints. What other things do you see? A weapon, and they didn't have any of that.
The footprint that they had in the where the person ran across the grass, was 11 and a half.
And what size shoes do you wear?
9.
Wow.
Yeah, it was the only footprint they had.
Wow.
That they could see, going in the direction of the car.
So you could have even just said something like that in the prelim, but you didn't get a preliminary hearing.
No.
What happened?
They knew they couldn't win in a preliminary hearing, so they did the old crooked way of just letting the DA have his side in a grand jury.
So they sent it straight to grand jury.
My attorney can't be there. He can't say nothing. He can't,
So they skipped it.
They skipped it.
And did your attorney confront the judge about why he did that at any point?
No, he was a crook too.
The first attorney. So I know you had 2 attorneys.
I had Robert Harris first.
and Robin Harris was a crook as well.
He was a crook.
So he didn't have your best interests at heart.
No, he took that 25,000 and ran.
Okay, so what are you referring to? So was he bribed for something?
I believe he gave me up to free somebody else. Because why would you, be talking to a state witness?
Okay, so just to fill in the audience here, I'm just going to walk this back a little bit. What I understand, and correct me, interrupt me if I'm wrong, Ray, is that you started out with your father's attorney, or the attorney that your father hired, right? Yeah. And this was the man that you just mentioned, that you said was a crook. And so early in the trial, I think it was pretty early in the trial, something happened with that attorney.
Yeah, he ended up being a witness against me.
And that was because they said that he had a conflict of interest and he couldn't be your attorney. And so what was the conflict of interest that they said?
He accepted and went and visited Alwyn Williams.
And Alwyn Williams was a witness for the prosecution. Now, what was your relationship with Alwyn Williams? Who was Alwyn Williams?
I found Alwyn Williams in a car, in the back seat of a Ford Falcon in the alley between 97 and 96. I was on my way, me and a couple of my friends, we was on our way to my girlfriend's house down the street, Kim, and I saw a head pop up. And me, just being nosy, I might have been a sex scene or something. I just being nosy. So I look over, I see him. I say, I recognize him from the park. He ain't from my neighborhood. So, I said, man, what you sitting in there? He said, my mom won't let me come home. My dad won't let me stay there. I just got out of YA, so I'm just trying to make my way. I said, man, get out the car, come with us. So, because I already seen him at the park. All the girls liked him. Mm-hmm. He had the big afro like the rest of us, and, he was swole. He was freshly out of jail, so, come on, let's roll. Mm-hmm. So he went, hung out with us, and then I took him to my mother's house, told my mother how I found him. And my mother was a person that, she take people in, So she told him, she said, look, what you want to do with your life? Well, I want to get into service. She said, okay, you can stay here. We'll help you get in the service. My son's been in the service. He'll help you get in, and as long as you obey by my rules, you can stay here until you get in the service. So that's what he did. He stayed there. We went through all his graduations and everything. Supported him. He caught a bank robbery charge, a kidnapping charge, and found a way out.
Why did he? So did he try to rob a bank?
Yeah, he kidnapped this woman and took her into the bank.
Wow.
And
so
at gunpoint.
Right. So I see where you're heading with this.
Yeah.
So Alwyn Williams gets after your mother brought him in and gave him a home because you found him in the park. Mm-hmm. Now I understand what happened a little more with your dog at Walmart. And so your mother brought him in, and then he got himself into some trouble and was put into custody, into jail?
Yeah, this is after he had got out of the Army.
Okay.
He was out of the Army. And
so after you guys had supported him to get into the Army.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
he did his term in the Army.
Right.
Came home.
Right.
Couldn't find a job, didn't want a job, and started robbing and stealing.
Right, I see. And then it caught up with him.
It caught up with him.
And then something happened that helped him to get back out of jail.
Yeah, me.
So how did you help Alwyn Williams to get out of jail, Ray Ray?
No, all he said was, he told me he did it, and that's what got him out of jail.
So essentially, by testifying against you in the same way, much the same way that Teresa did, Alwyn was freed from his jail time.
Yeah.
And let out.
And
by the way, after Teresa did Teresa did she testify against you in the trial?
No.
And why was that? I would think they would want her.
I wanted her to testify in the trial because she had, made a statement to her doctor that when she shot herself in the head after the sheriff made her go to Western Surplus with them. So
Western Surplus is where the knife was supposedly that you used. You purchased the knife that you then used to kill Sal Mineo, supposedly.
Yeah, that's what they
And
said.
we think that because Teresa went with the police there and showed them this was the same type of knife that Ray purchased from Western Surplus. Is that right?
That's what they said.
Okay, and then she shot herself in the head?
Then she went home and shot herself in the head.
Why did she shoot herself in the head?
Because she didn't want to continue lying on me. She just, and then, I guess they kept pushing the issue, I'm going to take your kids. You got a 17-year-old girl, and they telling her that they going to take your kids if you don't do what I say. Black people were scared of y'all back then. Some of us still are scared of y'all. That's how it is. You ain't never, if you ain't never been black, you'll never understand this.
Of course.
It's that slave bullshit all over again. You're gonna do it, I tell you, suffer the consequences.
Right. And so she felt she had no choice.
She had no choice.
I mean, to shoot yourself in the head, not only to become suicidal, but particularly, because I think about crimes and MOs and different ways that people do it and kill themselves a lot and kill other people. Shooting yourself in the head is kind of the most definite way to go. But she didn't die.
No, she shot herself in the head, shot her ear off, top of her ear off. The bullet is still in her head right now. She went blind for a couple of months and then got her eyesight back. And then she's fine.
And so she didn't actually end up testifying against you?
No, because the information that we had, could have really hurt their case.
Yep.
But my attorney wouldn't use it.
Sorry, yeah. So I was weaving around. So let's get back to your attorney.
He should have put her on that witness stand.
So I'm sorry, Ray. I'm trying to pull it all together, but back to your attorney. So after Alwyn was contacted supposedly by your first attorney, I guess he was. I guess the first attorney contacted Alwyn. Yeah. You said that he received $25,000 in exchange for having done that.
Well, no, another one of my partners was going to receive $25,000. He received his freedom and to get into the Marines.
I see. So how did they get your attorney to call Alwyn's, or was that a lie?
I don't know.
But you couldn't have been privy to all this.
I knew something was wrong.
Right.
When I came down from high power, I went into the attorney room. It's too many police outside. I've never seen this before, And then when I turned in to the attorney room, it's every lieutenant, every sergeant, every corporal, everybody big in there, And I'm like, what is this? Mm-hmm. Why is everybody here? Mm-hmm. And then, who's here to see Mr. Williams? I'm in high power, so I'm chained up, And I look down, and that's when I see my attorney and all Williams sitting there.
So, right.
They said, let me tell you.
I see.
You got a big old one-way glass office right here.
Yeah.
Believe me, I believe it was a camera right behind that glass and a mic up under the where we were sitting at. Because why would they sit us right there in front of this one-way glass? And when I seen him, I'm like, this. I knew off the top it wasn't right. Why is he talking to this man?
Because Alwyn, before this, he had no involvement in the case.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You just knew him because he lived with you and he was a friend. And so you've been brought in and you're coming down to some sort of, you call it a
turning room.
A turning room?
Mm-hmm.
And what's a turning room? Is that's where they talk
talk.
The attorney room, right. Yeah. Got it. And so now you see Alwyn
out
of the blue with all this law enforcement and you knew something was wrong.
I knew something.
And then what happens is that they, out of the blue, then also the judge says, oh, you've lost your lawyer, right? You've lost your attorney because he has a conflict of interest because he called Alwyn on the phone, and so then who was your new lawyer?
The dude named Herbert, Morton Herbert.
And how did you find him? How did your father find him?
My father didn't find him. He just showed up at the court.
So this wasn't hired by your father?
The court, no. My father was broke after that. $25,000.
So the first lawyer took all of your money, your father's money.
Yeah.
Then they got him out with the conflict of interest, and then they replaced it with a public attorney.
Public attorney.
And how was your public attorney?
He slept a lot.
He slept.
He slept in the courtroom. The judge kept telling me, hey, I would, and then the questions that I wanted to ask. I mean, like, when they came through with that bullshit about what did you see? And I never heard the question, do you see the person in the courtroom? That question was never asked, not even by my attorney. Why?
Did you ask him?
Yeah.
What did he say?
I'm the attorney.
Right. I know better. Right.
Yeah,
Don't question
no
me.
Attorney.
It's my case. I think I remember that from the book. He said it's my case.
Yeah.
So he loses it. He throws the case.
He throws it.
And this is when you're giving 51 years to life.
That's when I got 51 years to life.
What goes through someone's head when they are convicted of 51 years to life for a crime they didn't do?
Man, I hated everybody. I hated everybody, everything. I didn't give a damn about nothing. You know, I mean, the system, you know, see my mama. I had never seen my stepfather cry. Never. Man, put his hands on my shoulder and was crying, dropping tears on me. You know, I never seen this man cry. And he believed in the system. He knew.
Oh, that's really sad.
He knew that I would be released.
Right.
And the system
Right.
not only let me down, but let him down.
Right.
And like I tell you, I've never seen this man cry. Never.
And Ray, speaking of your mother, where were you actually at the time of Sal Mineo's killing?
At my brother Barnes' house.
Okay. And so your brother must have been there. Or did someone see you there so that they could testify on your behalf?
My brother testified. My brother and his wife testified that I was at their house.
And the jury just disbelieved them?
Yeah, disbelieved me. I mean, my brother worked with Rockwell, the NASA program. You know, he's one of the head designers of the space shuttle.
Oh, yeah, you told me about it.
Yeah, he's one of the first people. He got awards for it.
Right.
You know, and it took them I didn't really think that they was going to show up because they were so bougie.
Wow.
You know, so uppity.
Wow.
You know, they had everything,
yeah,
you know, beautiful and everything good, you know.
Yeah.
But they knew the truth.
Yeah.
They knew who I was.
Yeah.
So they had no choice but to put their jobs in jeopardy.
Wow.
And come and tell the truth.
Wow.
And they did. They came and told the truth. That I was at their house when it happened.
And where was their house?
On 104th in Manhattan.
Oh, so same neighborhood, South LA.
Yeah.
Okay.
West LA.
Okay. Okay, so then what happens, Ray, after you're in jail?
I pretty much kind of like lose my mind.
How so?
I man, you know, I don't know, man. It was just.
I don't know how you process something like that.
You know, you hope that you can get out, you know, and when you get in there, and I'm in San Quentin, you know, and I'm like, and everybody telling me there saying that I'm too young to be in San Quentin, you know. I had guys trying to get me transferred.
Because this all happened, I'm sorry I didn't ask, this all happened when you were what, 17?
No, I was 19 when I got there. 20 when I got to Quentin.
20 years old.
Yeah.
Now, I wish I didn't know this, but I happen to know from work that someone else was in San Quentin around the same time that most people have heard of.
Oh, you talking about Charles Manson? Stanley Williams. Yeah.
And
yeah.
Did you have any interaction with Charles Manson?
Yeah. Yeah, I was in the AC, and he was a few cells down. He would sing all the time. You know, he gets a big old bag of, I guess, mail every day. Women trying, asking could they marry him, and you know they sending him money. And if you didn't have no mail coming in, he would let you read his mail. He wouldn't let you answer it, but he would let you read his mail, you know, because shit, he got the big bag of mail 5 days a week. You
the
know,
following just continued into his prison life.
Man, they, you know, he tried to do some good in prison, but you know.
What do you mean?
He put a when he was on the main line, he put a piece of paper on the wall, and it wrote, if you didn't have a TV, you know, put your name on it, you know. So
did most people have TVs?
You know, it was a lot of poor, you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't think
TV.
people in prison had TVs.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't have TV. So you know, if you didn't have a TV, you put your name on there, and then your name and your number, and next thing you know, at R&R, it's a TV. Charles Manson was buying TVs for everybody. And the white dudes didn't like that. You know, you can buy TVs for white boys, but not for blacks or Mexicans or nobody else.
How did he have the money to buy everyone TVs?
The man got money. The man, like I could tell you, the man got a big sack.
And people sent him cash.
Of money. A big sack of letters.
That's disgusting.
With money.
And it doesn't surprise me at all. Doesn't surprise me at all.
That man was rich in jail. They just write him and send him money.
So Ray, you got paroled,
Mm-hmm.
presumably for good behavior.
No. I got my case overturned. I got the sentence overturned.
This is news to me. So how did that happen?
Well, my cousin Fernando found a loophole that they sentenced me under the wrong law. You know, like I told you, they was trying to get me on the death penalty. So they stayed in that, right there, in that law. And I should have been sentenced to another law, the new law. But they kept me under the old law. And that's how I got out.
And did this have anything to do with, because I know that when you were in court, one of the things they did was they lumped the Sal Mineo murder in with like a dozen other robberies that they accused you of. And had you done any of those robberies?
I was present on one robbery.
Okay.
You know, but, you know, the man testified that, you know, even though he got robbed,
mm-hmm.
my partner was drunk, you know, and he jumped out the car on the guy, pulled him out the window, started socking on him. I got a trunk full of weed in my spare tire. You know, I can't have this. So I get out the car. Now I'm fighting with my partner. You know, I'm taking everything, knocking the money out of his hand, knocking everything out of his hand, you know, pushing his ass back in the car.
To stop the robbery?
Yeah. So, you know, because I got too much dope in the car. So, you know, I'm pushing back in the car. You know, we drive off. You know, I'm thinking that the man is cool. You know, he still got his money. He ain't lose nothing. You know, police get behind us. I'm in a newer car.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got Daytona rims on it with balls. You know, I guess they didn't like that.
Right.
You know, very expensive rims.
Right.
And tires. So they pulled us over. And I pulled into the Fat Burgers, and they get us out the car, search the car, search his ass. He got one of the man's credit cards in his pocket. So now they running the credit card. This man just got robbed.
Right.
You know, so now,
right.
You know, while we talking, I'm talking to the man in the restaurant. You know, I'm like, look, can you call my people? You know, so, you know, they call my dad. I'm telling the police, look, my dad's coming to get my car. I don't want my car in possession of the police. They find the weed. Now I got a real case.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
And I'm floating through a phony name. I'm rolling on my godfather's name, Charlie Cofield.
Why were you doing that?
Because that's when I was on the run from Michigan.
It's like that expression that a tangled web we weave when at first we choose to deceive. So you do one thing wrong, and then you start lying about that, and then and then it's like a snowball.
Yeah.
So you had a lot to lose, and then I also remember that in a lot of the reports that, and I think this is in the other 9 robberies they got you for, they say that supposedly after you killed Sal Mineo, you then went on and you committed a robbery nearby in the area. Don't they say that?
3 blocks over.
Right.
3 blocks over. Now I'm no longer in black. Now I'm in blue and white.
Okay. Change your clothes.
Change my clothes.
Right.
No more yellow car. Now I'm in a 4-door white car.
Got it.
And now I have a crime partner, a tall black guy.
I remember reading about the crime partner.
The short guy has no hair. I got a big ass afro.
Right.
You know, the short guy is bald headed.
Right.
Now he's robbing somebody 3 blocks down. You know, everybody I didn't talk to that committed any kind of serious crime, they all say the same thing. I got out that neighborhood. So why, if I committed a crime,
right, would you go 3 blocks over and do it again? Yeah.
Knowing that neighborhood is hot.
Yeah. So you change your car, you change your clothes, and then after you kill Sal Mineo, you go 3 blocks over and then you do another robbery.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Got it. So it's very smart, very intelligent killer. You know, it's so funny just from a personal point of view because I've spent so much time. LA was my home. It's my home, and I always passed Sal's apartment, and I always would look, and I'd think, you know, that's where he got killed. And then there's this, I'm sure you guys know because you've driven it, there's this street that goes up to Sunset from Holloway. I think it's called Loma Vista or Alta Loma. Alta Loma. And I would just, every time I would pass it in my mind's eye, I would see a young Lionel Ray Williams running away with a knife. In my head, I didn't even remember the getaway car. But it's just crazy because I feel that I'm not the only American who has this just conventional wisdom that Lionel Ray Williams, for sure, beyond the shadow of a doubt, killed Sal Mineo. So this is such a revelation. And this is so hard to wrap my mind around. And I know I'm not doing a great job of bringing in all the threads because I keep remembering what they did was that they found all of this circumstantial evidence that was evidence. I mean, they right. So they and this brings me to one of the main themes before we get to then catching up with the rest of your life, Ray. I just want to stop because I know a lot of the people that are watching this are probably wondering, okay, why would someone go through so much trouble and coordination and planning to put one guy away for a murder? I mean, do you think they wanted to close the Sal Mineo case file that badly, or was there even something else at play?
I don't know. I mean, you know, it was so much, you know, stuff that I found out afterwards after I was in prison, you know.
Can you talk to me a little bit about some of that stuff?
Well, some of the stuff, you know, that I had a guy named Bloom used to come and visit me and write me letters.
This is Harold Bloom, right? Yeah.
And, you know, he told me, you know, that Sal Mineo had a list of people that, you know, he
list.
He was going to expose because his career wasn't going the way it, and, you know, he's doing what he's doing and they doing it with him and they not being, you know, prosecuted
so
for it.
I recently found that after I found out about you, and I went on YouTube, and on YouTube you can find a million videos that say Sal Mineo was going to expose closeted actors, but I couldn't find any definitive evidence, and I just dismissed that as kind of a conspiracy. And you're saying, so okay, so back up. Who is Bloom? Who is this person who visited you, Harold Bloom?
He just started writing me letters one day, and I started communicating.
Did he say who he was or why he was writing to you?
He said that he was some kind of senator, you know, but he was so secretive, you know. He just knew so much, you know. He seemed like he was so in touch with a lot of things.
He was somehow on the inside.
He was something.
And I know that when my friend wrote the article about you in the Post, he did a background check, and there was no senator by the name of Harold Bloom. He found some address in Vacaville, which makes him even more mysterious, right? Because he was almost like anonymous. So you have this anonymous visitor who's coming in, and he told you that this list really did exist, and that Sal was going to expose people. And do you think? And did Bloom say that is why Sal was killed?
He said he said it was a number of things that Sal was involved in.
Okay.
Saying that he was gonna him and Bob Crane was writing a script called "The Senator Must Die."
Bob Crane, the actor from Hogan's Heroes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That they was writing a script together. Bob Crane was gonna play the Kennedy, and he was gonna play Sirhan. Bob
Crane was going to play RFK?
Yeah.
And Sal was going to play Sirhan?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they was pushing the script around, and from what he said, that they was told to leave it alone. You know, just leave it alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess they wouldn't. You know, and Robert Bloom said that he believed that's why he was killed.
I remember reading a quote from Sal Mineo talking about that he was really interested in the details of the Kennedy story, and he would, something to the degree that he would pursue it no matter where it took him. I remember reading that quote.
I think he took it to a spot where he wasn't welcome.
So this mysterious visitor, Bloom, I mean, this is something that's hard for anyone to just come up with. Like I'm trying to think, what are our viewers going to be thinking? They're going to be thinking, oh well, maybe Lyle made it up, you know, during his time in prison.
I got letters.
There you go.
I got letters.
There you go. But also, I mean, for me, that's more for me. That's even more than I need personally. I'm not speaking for everyone else, but this is such an elaborate idea and plot and story that it seems something that would be challenging to make up. Something that would be, you would have to have a great imagination.
It should be obvious. It should be obvious. I'm not white. I don't look white. I can't pass white. What'd you say?
I wouldn't say that.
No, okay. See, that should have been obvious, right?
That should have just been the end.
Yeah.
And then thank you for reminding me of this, because also they did try in sort of like a humorous way, not on purpose, to explain why they tried to rationalize why the witnesses would have seen somebody with long blonde hair and it still could have been you, right? Do you remember what they did?
Yeah, I can't remember that part.
It was in the book. You talk about Mary Newsome.
Okay. Oh, they got her, paid her, got her man out of jail. My cousin, he beat her up afterwards when he got out.
Wow.
Because he didn't want to be involved.
Wow.
So, but he still got out, and she said that I dyed my hair blonde at that time. And every witness that knew me, that got on the witness stand, never said that.
And I think she also said that you permed it.
No.
Or
last perm I had.
She said blonde.
The last perm I had, I think I was 16.
So, okay, so Mary, and then I was listening to an interview this morning in preparation, and I was listening to one of Sal's biographers saying that he had a really creative solution, which was that Lionel Ray Williams ran and he was in dreadlocks, that's a really good way to synthesize a black man with an afro and a tall, blonde, white man with curly hair. What's the average of that would be dreadlocks. But Did you have dreadlocks?
No. No.
I don't remember seeing any pictures of you with dreadlocks.
I think the dreadlocks came along when Bob Marley came out, you know, and no.
I just thought it was a creative. That was one I hadn't heard. Dreadlocks, yeah.
No.
And so
I had dreadlocks when I got older, but no.
Now, Ray, who was Marianne Newsome, the person who said that you bleached your hair?
She was my cousin's girlfriend, baby mama, what we call her.
Mm-hmm. And how did they get her to say that? Why did she say that? Because
they was going to try to take her kids. She was with Teresa on the prostitution case.
So she was having drinks at the hotel when Teresa was picked up, and so they turned them both against you. So Teresa said you came home with the bloody shirt and you said you killed the guy in Hollywood, and then Marianne Newsome said, and he sometimes bleaches his hair. It's a lot of work, but if you're talking about something like what you just told me, that this was a high-level operation that came from above. Yeah. It didn't come from even the level of the sheriff. This would have had to be above the DA. This would have had to be something that was planned and coordinated. Then I suppose you would want to go to great deal of trouble to make sure that it succeeded. What do you know what happened then to Bob Crane, who was the other actor that was supposedly going to not drop the Robert F. Kennedy Sirhan?
Well, I heard from what Blum had told me that he got killed too.
That's right.
You know,
Yeah,
so,
unsolved. I think they found somebody, but the person was either released or I need to refresh, but in a very violent way.
mm,
And did you know Bob Crane?
no,
Did you know who he was?
no.
Okay. And did this Harold Bloom tell you anything else about Sal or about the case that is
No,
relevant?
he was just saying that most likely the person that they hired to kill Sal Mineo was also murdered. So, you know,
And did he say who they were? Who
no,
hired him?
he just said the system.
It's terrifying. It's interesting because we touched earlier, you mentioned Peter Pritchett.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing some independent research, and I've been studying a little bit about him. And sorry,
A crook.
that's the way that I was trying to say it. He also had ties to the mafia, from what I understand. Frank Sinatra, we know, was close to the Chicago mafia. So the implications of this are very heavy, and I'm not going to speculate. I don't think either of us can, but let's just get back to, let's wrap this up and catch me up to today. So first of all, Ray, did you say it was a cousin of yours who overturned your sentence?
Yeah.
So your cousin overturned your sentence by finding a legal loophole, and you were released after 11 years?
After 8 years later, I was released.
Okay, and then what happened?
And then I got out and started working. You know, got my license, started working. I was a repo. And then all of a sudden they arrested me again for robbery, murder. You know, and this I had just got shot. I had 4 bullet holes in my hand. Somebody tried to rob me in front of Winchell's on 108th and Crenshaw, and it was just something. God told me to get out the car. This dude trying to sell me some rings, you know. So, you know, because his posture was turned, you know. So when I got out the car, you know, that's when he came up with the gun. And I took the gun in my hand and I fired on him, and he let off my hand twice. Pow, pow. You know.
Because he wanted to kill you.
Yeah, he wanted to kill me. He was trying.
Do you know why?
He was
just to rob you, or do you
trying
think
to rob me?
Okay.
You know, because I was, you know, dressed nice. You know,
right.
Looked like I was.
Right.
I had a little money, you know, and after I got shot, I didn't realize I still had the gun locked in my hand. When I hit him, the gun locked in my hand, and the fire department is right across the street from and the firemen. When the ambulance showed up at my mother's house, I told my girlfriend at that time, "Come on, let's go." And so we went to my mother's house right around the corner because we was getting the donuts for her. And the police showed up, and the dude that was watering the front yard of the fire department was right there. He said, "I've never seen anybody do anything like that." He said, "You hit that man, and he was shooting." So he was the man that I used to get the violation that I was going to get taken off of me. You know, because he witnessed. I had to have a witness.
I see.
I come in contact with the police, I'm going to go back to prison.
I see.
So
I see.
He was at my hearing, and
it was defense.
Yeah, it was self-defense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, you know.
So, but then you were saying that then they got you for murder, robbery after this?
Yeah, yeah. They arrested me. And 2 days later, they arrested me for the murder robbery. And then they used, because they didn't have nothing. I didn't meet the description. I was too short again. This guy had long hair. I had no hair, you know. This guy had two good hands. He supposed to dragged her, all the lady in the house dragged her all with his left hand all through the house looking for the dope and found some money. And the doctor that came in that testified for me said that if I would have been the person to grab that woman all around her house, I would have broke some stitches. I'd have left blood in her hair.
Sure, yeah.
I'd have left blood on her floor.
Yeah.
I would have left blood in the hallway.
Yeah.
I would have left blood somewhere. There was no blood.
Yeah.
And the man didn't have gloves, so he was a stupid criminal. You know, when I was committing crimes, I'm gloved up.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so they got you for, and then who was murdered? Who was the murder charge about? That woman?
My brother-in-law.
Got it.
He got killed by the person that he bought his car from.
Was this Teresa's husband?
No. This is my brother-in-law.
Got it.
This is my brother-in-law, my brother Eddie's wife's brother.
Got it. Okay.
You know.
So, and he got killed, and was that at all related to the robbery, or they just blamed them both on you?
Well, they blamed the robbery and the murder on me. And then I took because they gave me an attorney. He was trying to get a deal. He was trying to talk to me about a book. He was trying to talk to me about a movie.
Because you're the man who killed Sal Mineo.
I'm like, look, man, I got this, you know.
Also, so, he's your attorney.
Yeah, but he's not. He's just trying to get $1. He's trying to make some money. He's trying to get famous.
Wow.
And I wasn't. No, I needed to get out of this.
Well, and this was right around the time.
Him, and then I took the case myself in pro per. In 2 weeks, I got the murder off of me. And then, but I couldn't get the robbery off of me.
And you were representing yourself?
I represented myself.
That's impressive. That's really, really hard to do and very risky. The judge can tell you
right now, he said, you wasted your time in crime. It should have been an attorney. You know?
Wow.
I got up in there and I studied. I studied, you know, because I was in San Quentin. I was, you know, in the law books and trying to find a way up out of there. It looks like a dig out.
But Ray, so this brings me to the same question that happened with the 1976 question, which is why would they, after you're free, you're out, you're working, you haven't done anything since you were out of prison, is that right? You haven't gone back to crime. Why would then the police want to set you up again?
They didn't want me in L.A. They didn't, like the second time after I got out of prison, you know, I got to be with my mama for 6 months. You know, after that, we moved my dad to Fort Worth, Texas. So they knew what was going on, you know, that my mother passed, moving, because they gave me permission pass to go take my dad to Fort Worth, Texas. I drove him. So they had all this information. Right after that, you know, they told me, look, the head man called me in, you know, and he said, look, you're going back to prison. I'm like, for what? What you go back to? What you go to prison the first time for? For some shit I didn't do. He said, you're going back to prison.
Who told you this?
The head man that at that time was in head of the parole in Watts.
The parole board, because you were you on parole?
I was on parole, yeah.
Oh, I thought
was on high risk parole.
Even though the sentence was wrong, they still put you on parole.
Yeah, I was on high risk parole. I
see. So they said you broke your parole.
No, I ain't break nothing.
But that's what they said. That was the reason that they.
No, he said that I'm going to prison. I'm going back to prison.
No, I mean that's what they said to the public.
Yeah.
They told the public that you broke your parole.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But behind closed doors, when they had you in, they just decided that you were going back to prison. But do you know why?
They saying that I was coming in contact with too many people. I don't know who I was coming in contact with.
So how long were you put back into prison for?
For another 8 years.
And was that the last time that you were in prison?
Yeah.
So what year did you finally get out?
In 98.
And so, Ray, what have you been doing since 1998?
joined the Rising Suns back in 2000. I've been on the motorcycle set ever since. Riding motorcycles, going out of town, jump in the RV, go to the lake. Married to a beautiful young woman.
You have family?
Yeah, I got a little 11-year-old now.
Were Teresa's kids also your kids?
Yeah.
So they're grown up now?
Yeah, my oldest girl is 50, and I got two 49-year-old sons. They're not twins. And I got the 11-year-old.
So you have 4 kids. And have you returned to crime at all? Have you committed any crimes since 1998?
No, I've been working. When I got to, I think the third day after I got to, the first day I got there, I went and I went to the repo guy. Oh, I had never been really exposed to racism, like in Bakersfield. Oh, boy, that man told me something I didn't want to hear. I'm like, whoa, okay, all right. So I left that alone, and I jumped in my lowrider one morning, went out to the country to go buy some weed for one of my partners. Buy some weed for one of my partners out there, and I seen a construction crew, So I pulled into the dirt lot, getting my stuff all dusty and dirty, laid him on the ground and went over and talked to the head man in charge. I said, are you hiring? He said, what you know to do? I said, well, I know how to drive backhoes, most equipment I know how to drive and use.
Like a journeyman?
Yeah, so, so he tested me out, put me on the backhoe, and knocked the house down, cleared it out. Told him, he said, you got any boots? Because I had on tennis shoes.
Oh, you have to wear boots.
Yeah. He said, you got any boots? I said, yeah. I didn't have no boots, but I went and bought some.
Yeah, right.
Showed up the next day, and we cleared out the property, and I worked for him until some Mexican dudes stole his truck, and he just fired the whole crew. He just, we knew. I knew who stole his truck, but I ain't no snitch. So,
So he didn't know who did it. So he just fired everybody.
He just fired everybody.
I understand.
So he fired everybody,
So Ray, what do you want our audience to take away? Presumably thousands of people are going to see your interview and this talk. What do you want them to know? First of all, why now? Why did you wait until 2024 to tell your story?
Well, I waited so long. When I first got out, I set up some appointments with TV shows. Mm-hmm. And the one TV show that my mother saw, Entertainment Tonight.
Yeah.
And she said, when she seen it on Entertainment Tonight, she said, look here, I'm going to tell you just what she said. I don't want these white folks parking in front of my house asking questions no more. So leave that alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she must have been harassed the entire time.
Man, they camped out. She had to keep her sprinklers on.
I remember reading that. Yeah, in 1976.
Yeah, she had to keep her sprinklers on, to keep them out of her yard, because it was just, had to keep the dog and, in the driveway.
So you were on Entertainment Tonight and you told your story.
Yeah, I told my story.
And did anything come of that?
No.
Why do you think? Seems like it would be a big deal.
Man, they're trying to keep the story covered.
Yeah, because
keep the conspiracy going
as late as
forever.
2018, I read in the Hollywood Reporter this very fancy, long-form James Ellroy piece about finding the killer of Sal Mineo. Have you read it? It has these like illustrations, and then you see Sal, and he has blood dripping, and it's very colorful, and the language is very descriptive. And they talk about from the point of view of a cop, because James Ellroy writes like a noir kind of style, and they talk about, and then they caught Lionel Ray Williams, blah blah blah, done, dusted. We got the guy, and I remember.
Have you read that, man? Have you read that? Oh, I need to find that.
I'll send it to you, because I know Letitia, who did Unseen Innocence, read it, and either she and you then went to the Hollywood Reporter with your story and said, listen, we'll tell you what happened, and they interviewed you, but apparently they haven't run it. They're holding on to it.
I haven't seen it.
So it seems that someone still doesn't want this story to get out. I doubt it's because they don't think it's true, because even if you don't think something is true, you can still air it. You can still say, well, this is what he says. I wonder what the merits are, like what we're doing now. People will judge for themselves. But it seems like there's almost a cover-up. I don't want to say that there is, but it feels like still.
It's still covered, man. They don't want the truth to come out because it's going to make them look bad.
The sheriff's office.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And probably the district attorney at the time.
Come on, man. They all corrupt. I mean, what I couldn't understand is why the DA never asked the number one question. Do you see the person in the courtroom? Not one eyewitness on that murder scene was asked. And I'm gonna tell you, you can also I got paper. Every witness, except for that one that I was on the robberies, said almost the same thing. It's something about this picture.
Pictures.
It's something about my picture that they were showing.
Oh, your picture.
Yeah, they showed a gang of pictures of me, different, hairdos, I got the afro, I got the bald head. They even got a picture in there when I was 15, with my hair all spiky and stuff, And I don't look like the person that they wanted.
So what were the witnesses saying about the picture of you?
It's something about his picture. But see, like...
What do you mean?
The psychiatrist, this is how I got it. I realized what was wrong. When I got to San Quentin, I had lost my brain.
Of course. Anybody would in your situation.
I'm hitting people. If you my partner, and you got something going on with partner over here, okay, now it's my problem too. So now we're going to go over here and address this.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody might get hurt. But that's just how I felt. I didn't give a damn.
You must have been so angry.
I was. Yeah. But, I was, my psychiatrist was saying that I was trying to commit suicide through someone else. But in my mind, I wasn't trying to commit suicide. I was just mad.
Mm-hmm.
I was just mad.
And so your psychiatrist gave you some insight into why they were showing pictures of you to the witnesses?
Yeah, they said, that she told me, she said, because she followed the case. She followed the case. And
she
said,
believed you?
Yeah, she believed me. She said, look, your picture had been on TV for 2 years before the robberies came into account. You had been on every television station.
I see.
One of my partners seen it in France and came back
I see.
to the States and came to the county jail to visit me. He said, what's going on here? I said, man, they set me up. He like, no, this is crazy. He like, everything he read was a white dude. Why they got you?
But the subliminal imprinting of showing your picture for 2 years before your trial.
Bam. That's what got them people to say it's something about this picture. And then one of the people, they asked, the DA asked, do you see the person in the courtroom? He said, now that I'm in the courtroom, I think that guy over there looks more like the person that robbed me. He picked out the court clerk. Instead, he didn't pick me out.
Do you have a transcript of the trial?
I got transcript of everything.
Good.
I got transcript of everything. Every one of my comments, every one of my visits was recorded. Every one of my phone calls was recorded. That's why the conversation that's in the book is all transcript. My book is wrote on transcript. Ain't nothing wrote about me. I ain't got no conversation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Everything in my book is wrote on.
But if you have transcript of the original trial, then presumably you can show that this is what the witness said when you're making your case.
I got all that.
Right.
I got all my transcripts.
And the other question that I have that I think people are going to have is, have you revisited any of those witnesses, Gustafson or the other three that would have seen the actual killer? Have you talked to any of them?
No. Like, we can't find Monica or her mother.
That's the little girl.
Yeah, or the security guard across the street. We can't.
But Gustafson?
We found him.
And what did Gustafson have to say?
He said the man that killed Sal Mineo was taller than him.
And he's in the documentary.
Yeah, and Sal Mineo is taller than me.
That's right. That's right. Because Sal Mineo was 5'6", I think.
No, he was 5'4", something. He's short dude.
He was short dude.
Yeah, if he's shorter than me, then he got to be short. You know, so he testified that the man was much taller than him.
Right.
So
right. And he said that today.
Yeah.
Okay.
He said that then and today.
Right.
I got it on transcript.
Right. And so you have filed a habeas petition you're going to file on January 1st, 2026, a habeas petition for a retrial. So they'll re-examine your case.
Yes, reopen.
Okay, sorry, but I did interrupt you when I had asked you why did you wait until now? And you were saying that you had gone on some TV shows, and your mom had asked you just to leave her alone.
Yeah.
And so is that the reason that you gave it a rest?
No, is that really I had just pushed it out of my mind, but then my son's mother had told him that I was a killer, you know, and you don't tell I think he was 8 then. You don't tell no kid nothing like that, you know. And then when it was my week to have him, he started tripping, you know, not, you know, reacting. You're not staying in his room, want to look at the TV or get on the computer or whatever. You know, he's across the street now, you know. So she said, my wife said, well, what's going on with you? You know, and then that's when he just, my mom said my dad's a killer, you know.
How did that make you feel?
Oh, man, it crushed me. And then when he started bringing up these superheroes, you know, don't kill this person, don't kill this, you know, I just, you know.
He was telling you not to kill his superhero?
Yeah, you know, I'm like, look, I'm not no killer, your mama's a lie. You know, I ain't gonna tell you exactly what I told him, but, you know, because, you know, there was a little cussing in it, but I'm just saying,
sure.
You know?
Well, the thing is, look, hypothetically, if for the sake of argument you had killed Sal Mineo and she knew that, you don't tell you don't tell the son of your you don't tell the son of your ex-husband that for his sake. You just don't do that.
No, she was the one.
So she was clearly trying. She was just trying to hurt you.
She was not my wife. She was not my girlfriend. She was just something that laid with me, and that was it.
Right, and she was upset with you, and she was trying to get back at you.
Yeah,
and then,
I
what about your children with Teresa? What's your relationship with them like? Has it impacted them?
Yeah, still, you know, I ain't seen them since my great grandson's funeral. You know, they, you know.
When was your great? And I'm sorry about that. When was that?
About 5 months ago. He died of some mysterious flu or something.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
And so you don't really talk to they? Will they talk to you?
Well, they kind of upset because I didn't brought this back up.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. So they were asking you to let sleeping dogs lie.
They ain't asked me.
But
Because they know I wasn't going to. If they asked me, it wouldn't have made no difference. I would have did it anyway.
Right. You're like me.
Yeah.
Right,
So,
right. And Ray, another question that's just popped in my head that I think that some of the viewers might have is, if Teresa went through all this and then she was in so much anguish that she tried suicide and she lived, could you have her speak on your behalf to say what happened?
that woman, she don't speak to me.
She won't speak to you.
Yeah, let me tell you, I had to force myself into my daughter's wedding. My only daughter. I had to force my way into that wedding. I wasn't invited to my only grandson's wedding. Yeah, I barely got invited to my great-grandson's funeral. I think the only way I got in there is I put some money in it on it.
Well, a funeral, you're not really even supposed to have to get invited. You just find out about it.
Yeah.
But they probably didn't want to tell you.
They don't. I'm not invited. You know what I'm saying? I'm not invited.
So do your adult kids? Teresa knows you didn't do it, right?
Yeah, she knows it.
And she hasn't told your children, or do they think that you've done it?
No, my daughter. She said, "No, Dad, I know." She said, "You too nice."
Yeah.
I'm just being nice. Got me in trouble. Taking somebody home.
I'll win.
Yeah, I'm just.
Yeah, it really did.
I'm just,
And the other thing that I was going to throw in there was, in case people are wondering, how would the police get in touch with? How would they know to get in touch with Alwyn or Teresa or Mary Newsome? Did they do something to obtain any of your personal addresses or phone numbers?
Well, Teresa gave them my phone number, my phone book.
That's what I remember. So they used the phone book then, and they went through and they contacted your network, and they saw who had prison sentences or who had a compromising situation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a lot of work, and I think even so, just because. And I've discussed this with Letitia, who made Unseen Innocence. I think some people are just going to have trouble wrapping their mind around the fact or the idea that law enforcement could be so evil or so dishonest.
Look, when I went to New Orleans to the Innocence Network, when I went there, I thought it would be probably 2 or 3 of us. It was thousands.
What's Innocence Network, Ray?
It's they help people get out of prison that's been wrongfully
The Innocence
convicted.
Project.
The Innocence
Project.
I'm a part of. This is what this is.
So you've been talking to the Innocence Project, and what have they told you?
They told me right now that they can't help me because they're trying to get 2 people off of death row.
Well, and I think that's another thing that for me lends your case quite a bit of credibility. Is you waited until 2024, so you haven't made this your life's mission. You clearly haven't been. You could, if you wanted money or to sue or to get in the papers, you would have started a long time ago, right? Yeah. And the other thing is, you don't have a lot to gain because you are free in body.
Yeah.
So I think that if some people are wondering what's his angle. Your angle is, from what I understand, that you aren't cool with your youngest son, or really your other kids.
Well, my other kids either.
Your other kids either. Thinking that you did this.
This affects everything, every part of my life. I don't get invited to parties. My daughter's 50th birthday. I should have been there.
Yeah.
Her mama was there. Her stepfather was there. Her sisters and brothers was there. All her kids was there. The only person that helped bring her ass here wasn't there.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
That hurt me.
Of course.
Sometimes I get into a space that I don't want to be in.
Still?
Yeah.
How do you cope?
Man, I just ride my motorcycle.
Does that bring you some escape?
It brings me all the relief, man. When I'm riding that bike, none of this exists.
Oh, it's really good that you have that.
Yeah.
So, Ray, I think let's wrap it up, but I want to give you the last word. and I want to thank you so much for being here and putting up with me and my interruptions and my sort of disorderly interview style, because I don't know how to do it. But I wanted to ask you.
You did a good job, man.
Trying. I wanted to ask you, what do you want people to know that is what you're looking for, and what message do you want to leave people with this interview?
Okay, what I want this interview to be left with is, this has to stop. You know, the DAs, the police departments, the sheriffs, you know, they getting away with this. You know, like I said, this just not me. It's thousands of people in my predicament.
But who didn't kill world famous movie stars?
Yeah, but they didn't kill nobody. But they still
kill.
They still went to prison for all these years for things that they didn't do.
Right.
You know, it needs to be laws changed. It needs to be, if the DA gets caught doing something, his ass need to go to prison. You know, if the police mess up, his ass need to go to prison.
Accountability.
You know what I'm saying? They got to go to prison. All they getting is, don't you do it again.
Yeah.
Now, fuck that.
Yeah.
They need to go and feel what I felt. Go get stuck like I got stuck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
You know, cry in the cell like I cried.
Yeah.
You know, I missed everything.
You had your life destroyed. And even though you have your life back, you still don't have your name back. And in my view,
I'm still a killer on the internet.
You're still a killer on the internet. A man's name is his most valuable piece of real estate. So, God willing, we'll fix that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you taking the time. Let's have some lunch.
Yeah. Hey, but I still want you all to purchase this book.
And where can people purchase this book?
On Amazon. 51 Years of Life. I wrote this in 1983. Most of y'all wasn't alive.
and thank you for plugging that. Also, I'm going to put into the description of this video the Cash App account for your crowdfund to help your case.
Yeah, because we still fighting.
Well, I think the fight's just beginning. Yeah, unfortunately.
We still fighting.
But you have time.
Yeah. How much time I got, though?
Well, let's hope it's enough.
Yeah.
Let's make sure it's enough.
My lifestyle and riding these motorcycles, boy, I can go at any given time.
But you won't. You won't before your name is clear.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. That's right. Great. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure, really.